Hello everyone, welcome to Painting Crafty, and today I'm going to be mixing it up with a little bit of a mixed media piece. Today I'm going to take you on a little adventure, and I'm going to be using some instant coffee to create these beautiful sepia tones inside of this painting. Did you know that you could use instant coffee to paint with? I know you probably know you can use it to stain fabric or to age your items, but you can use it like paint as well, or like an ink if you think about it that way. It's going to create some of these beautiful rich tones. Today I'm a part of a YouTube collaboration, and it's all about coffee. There's going to be a link inside of the description box with all of the videos for today's collaboration. Definitely take some time, check out those links. I'm sure you're going to be inspired to create. I'll tell you a little bit about my friends later on who are hosting today's event. Well, let's get started. And like this little the saying says, it's every adventure is worthwhile. So come on in and let's take an instant coffee adventure. I'm going to be building this piece of artwork on 100% cotton watercolor paper. I'm going to spritz it first with a little bit of water, and then I'm going to take my instant coffee and kind of granulate it through my fingers and crunch it up just a little bit. I'm creating the horizon line. I'm going for just a little bit less than half. But in the grand scale of things, it really doesn't matter because you're going to be kind of playing with this, and this is just a process to have fun. So I have the paper wet first, add the coffee, and now I'm spritzing it a little bit more. This is the step I'm going to kind of crush those little granulations on top, creating a darker and a lighter effect. You can start to build your layers and decide how much white you want to have in the end. I was going for more of a coffee look and little bits of peaks of white here and there. I'm using my brush now and kind of softening some of that coffee, creating more of that horizontal landscape feel. And now I'm going to take that lid, that same lid, and I'm going to dip it into some instant coffee that I had sitting on my desk where it had dried down to almost a syrupy consistency. And I'm going to use that to stamp it in there, almost like an ink pad, if you think of it that way, where my coffee is there. But when I go in with this wet brush now, I can go ahead and touch those circles a little bit, and I'm going to get those rounder, like if you put a coffee cup down and you got a coffee ring, that's what I was going for. So I wanted to be able to dip it in there, get those rich tones, but then to be able to soften some of that color back by adding some water or some additional coffee. Here I'm going in with a little bit of spritz to soften that and then holding it up to see if I can get some drips. I'm hoping you can kind of see, like, even at this stage, it already looks like a landscape. There really is no wrong or right way to do this process. This is just all about experimenting with textures and seeing how the product moves around the paper. It's complete and total fun. A project like this is just giving yourself permission to even make mediocre art. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. I'm going to be mounting it on cardboard. I'm using cardstock to be able to put on the back of it. It's just really inexpensive materials. Some instant coffee from your Dollar General store and some water and some things to stamp and make texture in it. And that's all I'm doing. So give your permission to just play and experiment with this process. Here I'm spreading it out a little bit more, and I kind of erased some of my circles, so now I'm going to add them back on. It's just one of those steps with mixed media. You can add on the steps and then take it away. You can add whatever you wanted to. So even if you want to add some acrylic paint or inks to this, go ahead and do it. Here I'm using a stamp. That coffee worked great to put a little bit of design in with the stamp. It actually kind of stuck to my finger because that instant coffee is a little sticky. So I was able to just kind of stamp those patterns in around and just create another fun image in the background. Here I'm using my pencil, my Kimberly 9XXB pencil. If you watch me, you know it's one of my favorites. I'm just adding some scribbly bits at the horizon line to represent trees or foliage of some sort in the background and to introduce a little bit of black. This step, I'm using my stylus, and I'm actually damaging my paper. I'm going in and I'm just doing a little bit of fast script writing. And wherever I'm indenting and damaging the paper by writing on it with this metal tool, the coffee is going to sit darker inside of there. And it just makes very much a subtle impression of having some writing in the background. Super cool to do. And I do that on my regular watercolor paintings too. It's a fun technique to use. So now I'm just going to brush a little bit more coffee over that area, and then that's going to sink down into that texture. It's coming to life with just adding those few little simple things on there. This splitter splatter tool is one of my favorites. I have that down in my side of my description box. A lot of the tools that I use that aren't junk or recycled things will be listed down inside of my description box with some links in there if you're interested in checking them out. Some of these elements in the background you may not ever see because you might put something on top that's going to cover it up. I knew I was going to be adding some sort of images on top, but I wasn't quite for sure at this stage. Now I'm going to take that Kimberly 9XXB pencil again, and I'm going to be creating some line work. I like to hold my pencil loosely and have irregular circles, some dashes and dots, just creating other little line work to create more of an interesting background. Again, they might not show in the end, but it does make a difference, and they're super fun to do anyway. I'm also going to create some texture with my brush by holding it sideways and twisting and turning and pushing, and then also adding a deeper rich color of the coffee on the very top. I want it to definitely have that feeling of having coffee rings or drips of coffee at the top. At this stage, I thought I wanted to add a little bit more texture, so a perfect one is cinnamon. If you're a crafter, you know how many recipes there are for cinnamon and instant coffee to add any type of grunge, and it works well for this painting as well. I just put a little bit on and kind of rubbed it in with my finger, and it created a beautiful texture, gave it a little bit of tap, and this artwork smells so good with that instant coffee smell and a little bit of cinnamon. I added some of the coffee on the top to kind of make that rustier, grungier feel as well. I'm trying to darken that horizon line so it definitely feels like it's anchored there. And here I'm going in and adding even more dark to that very top, kind of almost like an aged, I don't know, cloud look or feel to it. I'm not making clouds per se, but I want that little bit of a darker edging around the top. I gave my piece a chance to dry so I could gauge how dark I was and to see if I was ready to add the white. I was going to be adding the white bits on with my favorite tool, a China marker. I love this white China marker. It's just a very soft, pretty white. It has a crayon color quality to it of the line work, but it's got a nice bright white to it. It's one of my favorite tools to add white to any of my paintings. Adding the line work is one of my favorite steps. It's really a good idea when you're adding line work is to hold your pencil or your tool a little farther away and twist and pull and hold it loosely. And that way you're going to get irregular lines. A matter of fact, try your non-dominant hand. That can create some very creative line work as well. I wanted to create a dark ink edge all the way around, and I'm going to be using this Tim Holtz razor tool. It works great for roughing up the edge of the paper and then applying the ink, and it just soaks in so much nicer by having that roughed paper edges. I'm going to link that tool down inside of my description box as well. I've had it for a very long time, and I often use it when I'm doing these paper pieces. To add a few more bits of coffee goodness, I added some coffee stained papers to the top. I had that image of a moth or a butterfly, whatever it might be, and a wallpaper background paper that had these beautiful turquoise colors that had been coffee stained, and they looked really pretty with the sepia tones. I also cut out some lettering for this project as well, and had mounted it on some black cardstock paper. I always try to remember, if I remember, I want to remember anyway, is to ink the edges of these little paper elements. It really does make a difference if you add a little ink to the edges. It just helps them stand out so much nicer. But sometimes I do forget. I started my video out saying, come along and take an adventure with me. Well, this is one of the adventuresome steps. I wanted to add some thread to this, the horizon line, the landscape line, and I wanted to have it, at first I thought I was gonna put it on with a glue stick. Oh my goodness, what a sticky mistake that was. I put it on, the glue stick on, my fingers stuck, I couldn't get it to stay down. I had a better solution later on. I ended up using the matte medium, put the matte medium on that area where I wanted the thread and just stuck the thread in there, and that worked so much better. But this was kind of a sideways adventure, this one was, with the thread, but I liked the look. I just didn't like the way I tried to put it on. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The glue stick worked fine to adhere the little paper pieces, but just don't use it for the thread. Today my video is a part of a YouTube collaboration called My Coffee House. We have 4 hosts today. We have Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling, Monica with Up All Night DIY, Natalie with Sparks of Joy Studio, and Mary, the Painted Peach by Mary. You're going to find the links to their channels inside of the description box, as well as a playlist of all the other videos that have been contributed for today's Coffee House collaboration. Well, let's continue on and I'll show you my next steps. I had 2 background pieces I wanted to add to the background. I was going to be using that black cardstock to mount the actual painting on, and then I was going to be using the cardboard as functioning more like a frame. I wanted to have more of a rugged look for this cardboard, so I added a little bit of water and then removed some of the cardboard around the edges to expose that corrugated feel of the cardboard. It's fairly easy. Once you add a little bit of water, let it sit, and then just kind of rip off what you would like. Once I had removed the cardboard that I wanted, I used some more of that coffee that was more of that syrupy consistency, added some water to it, and then I used that as a stain around the edges of where I was going to be seeing the cardboard. This added a very rich look to it. It kind of reminded me of back, it wasn't that many years ago, or maybe it's been about 20 years ago, that people were using brown paper sack to actually put on their floors. They were gluing them on their floors and creating a floor texture. Now, raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. I know I'm old, but that was a thing. It really was. It looked like leather in the end. You're going to have to let me know in the comments if you remember that trend where they were putting brown paper sack paper on the floors and making it look like leather. That's what this reminds me of. It almost looks like that leathery, crusty goodness. I decided to add a few more texture pieces to the background. So I used some of my Liquitex matte gel and I took some of the pieces that I had ripped off and I glued them back on because I love that edge of that brown torn paper and I wanted to see some more of that really dark edges. So I added a few of those pieces around the edges as well. It's just adding another layer of coffee goodness. I love the color, I love the texture. Hopefully I'm inspiring you to take another look at your instant coffee sitting on the shelf and figuring out another way to use it. I had mentioned earlier when you're using instant coffee in these rich dark tones and when you're using a concentrated form, it may end up feeling a little sticky. The one way you can solve it is to go ahead and spray your pieces that have the instant coffee on it with some matte varnish. I gave all my pieces at least 2 coats of matte varnish, and that solved the problem of getting rid of any of the sticky quality. Now let's go ahead and add a little razzle dazzle to this piece using some mica. I have these sheets in my stash and I also have some loose leaf mica that I'm going to be staining using some ink. It can be a beautiful effect. The one I've even added a little bit of hologram foil over the top and it is so sparkly and pretty. To attach the mica, I used Aleene's Clear Tacky Glue. For the larger flat pieces, I just took some, put it on the paper, and then brushed it out with my paintbrush to create kind of a thin layer of glue, and then just tapped in the larger mica pieces. For the ones that were the chunkier bits that I had dyed, I just took some of the Aleene's glue, squirted it into my container, used a popsicle stick, and made my own mica glue. And then I could take the popsicle stick and then stack up those chunky bits of mica. If you can get that chunky stacked look, in the end it looks beautiful and it really is a special effect of having those stacked layers of mica. You can see all the little different colors, the turquoise, the browns, and the dark greens, and then those little hologram gold pieces really do sparkle. I can't wait to show you in the end of what they look like. To finish off the cardboard piece after it dried, I took some black ink and just went around the edges and then on the very tips of the corrugated cardboard area. It really did set it off nicely and it brought that touch of black into this piece as well. I was going to be using some spray glue to attach the black piece to the cardboard. And I did make a little bit of a mistake. I did too much glue on there and you could see the little marks from the glue that came through. So I thought I would just go with it and I added more dots using the coffee stain. Let it dry and it just kind of disguised it a little bit. So you see little flecks of the coffee in the background. This is yet another piece I added the instant coffee to, so I'm going to make sure after it dries I give it 2 coats of the matte varnish. To mount the art piece on the very front, the paper piece, I wanted to have it stand up just a little bit from the background. So I had these little foam pieces of tape, but Lord knows how long I've had them because they weren't very sticky. So I added some of the clear tacky glue to the back and put the pieces on. And it does help that it does have a little bit more open time in your glue, so it's not going to dry so quickly. So you have a little bit of time to move it around, which was super helpful for positioning this piece. Well, let's go ahead and take a close-up of what it looks like all finished and sitting in my studio. Well, let's take a closer look at all that coffee goodness and those rich colors that you can get with instant coffee. If you're new to my channel and you like doing art and crafts, come on over and see what I'm doing. I'd love to have more creative friends join me. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. It sure does help my channel grow. If you enjoyed this tutorial, here's a couple more you might want to check out. Make sure you click that bell to get all the notifications when I upload a new video. Well, thanks for joining me today, and hopefully you'll come back and join me again, and perhaps next time you'll create right along with me.